Okay, so you decided to come to Germany as an international student. Yay! Amazing! Congratulations, I think you made the right choice. In this video, I'm going to talk about the steps to applying to a school in Germany, to a university in Germany. If that's what you're interested in, I would like you to please stay to the end of this video and so that you can get all the tips and all the steps I have to mention here. Well, the first thing is to actually look for a school, like to choose a university. Now, it depends on what you want to apply for. If you want to go for an undergrad or a master's, it all depends. You can always search for this online. Personally, what I did for my own time, I think I was searching for schools on Google, like German schools that offer so and so course on Google, and then a lot of schools popped out. So I like made my choice. You see some reviews on the school. You can also see like the requirements. You have to find out if you even miss the requirements, because there's some schools that have some requirements that you don't have. They might ask for a German language, and if you clearly don't speak German, of course you can't apply to this school because you might not get the admission. You have to choose a university. And then again, if you don't want to just search on Google, which I think is like the easiest way, you can also search on the DAAD database. On the DAAD database, you have like list of schools in Germany, a lot of, I think about 2,000 of them. Some of them offer courses in German, some are in English, and then you have a wide range of courses, undergrad courses, PhD, masters, whatever it is you want. You can search them, you can find them on the DAAD database. I'm going to leave the link in the description box here, so you can always go there and choose schools. The good thing about the AAD also is that they give, like, for each school that you see there, so write the requirements to get admitted, the language the courses are offered in, everything you need to know about the school, basically, for you to make a choice on the university. So it's actually a very good place for you to go. And they also have scholarship options on the AAD as well, so you should really check it out. The thing is, to study here in Germany, if you're going for a BSc or undergraduate course, most times it's taught in German language. So you need to know German in order to be taught appropriately, like for you to understand what is happening in class. That brings me to the admission requirements. One very important thing to know is that for schools here in Germany, you need to have a language requirement, either in English or in German. So say for instance, you're going for an undergrad course, like a BSc course, they would mostly ask you for a test of German language, because most of the courses are taught in German, or at most taught in both German and English. So for you to cope with the German classes, you need to prove that you can actually speak and understand the language. And for them to know that you can actually do this, they'll need you to write a German language exam for university entrance. If you pass this exam, of course they become a little bit convinced that you can cope in class, and then they'll go with it. But for instance, if you're applying for a master's, most master's degrees are taught in English. At least to the best of my knowledge, most of them are taught in English. Depending on the course you're going for, of course, they would ask for a test of English language. Like they'll ask for the English language test, which is either IELTS or the TOEFL. So you need to check what exactly it is, like the requirement for your school, the school you want to go for. You need to check even the pass mark, like what grade or what score you have to get in some of these tests for you to be considered, like for you to actually apply. Sometimes it varies. For instance, for the IELTS, some universities might ask you to get a 5.5 grade, some ask to get a 6.5 grade, some ask to get a 7.5 grade. So you need to be sure of this, so you don't write the exam, find out that when you're applying for it you didn't meet the grade. Other basic requirements you would need, apart from your language, your proof of language, either in German language or in English language, is a copy of your certificate, like your high school certificate or any previous degree you've had, any previous study you've had. Just a certificate of it, a proof of a certification. They would need this, and if it's not in English, please try to translate it in either German or English. So just in case you're coming from countries that say Egypt, where they speak Arabic, or any other country, Pakistan or wherever it is, if your certificate is not in English or German, please try to translate it, because yeah, that's what they would need. Something else they'll also need is your transcript. Your transcript is like a record of all the courses you've had with the grades and scores and all of that. If it's also not in English or German, please try to translate it as well so that it would be easier for them to understand. You know, they need to see this transcript because it depends on the course you're applying for. You're applying for a course that has nothing to do with your previous degree. They would want to know, like if you had any connecting anything in between. So you say for instance, if you studied English language and you're trying to apply to study physics, next as a master's degree. Of course, English and physics, there's almost no link. That is why they need to see your transcripts to know if there's any connecting course you've had in between. Maybe any of your courses in English that had something to do with physics per se. But if you did something similar, say you studied economics and you're trying to apply for an MBA course, they would see like there's a connecting course between economics and MBA, like somehow related, with the whole with business administration and all the rest. So this would determine if you're going to get admitted into the university or not. What I've said is I think it's also important to point out that when you're applying for a university here in Germany and you're applying for a second degree, say for instance you studied your BSc in a different country and you're applying for a master's here, it's always good to apply for something that's close to your course. That way it almost guarantees the possibility of you getting admitted. It's not 100%, but at least it gives you a fair chance. But if you're applying for a BSc, it's a BSc, just your interest, and then again you did in your high school. So for people that come from West Africa, Nigeria more precisely, if you were an art student and in your WAEC you wrote art subjects, say government, and things like that, it's a higher chance of getting admitted if you're applying for a course related to that. You can't study government and everything purely art and expect to get admitted to study something like physics or medicine or something that is strictly or like everything science. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So the reason why they ask for some of these certificates is so that they can find the foundation, like the link between what you did in the past and what you're trying to do now in the future. So if these documents are not in English, please translate them to English. And yeah, for translation, there are some places, it depends in the country, there's some places where you can translate some of these documents. Most times, most people do it in the embassies, but once you have it translated and it's correctly translated with the right stamps and everything to show that it's official and it's authorized, then you're good to go. You can submit your application. One other document you also need is your ID card, either your ID card like your national ID card or your international passport. So they'll need your ID card, either your international passport or your national ID card, and also like a passport photo. And they also need a passport photo, for identification purposes. These are like the basic documents or basic requirements they need. But then again, it depends on the school and depends on the course you're applying to. So you have to check all these requirements to be sure that you have all these things, so that you don't send an incomplete application, because sending an incomplete application has a very high chance of making you not get the admission. So the applications are not for free, so you would want to really make sure that you have everything before you spend that money to apply it, and it reduces your chance of getting rejected. So now that I said that most of the applications are not free, you should also be aware that yes, most of the applications are not free. So you might have to pay a little amount of money. It depends on the amount of euros you need to pay. It depends on the school and it depends on the course as well, on the amount of euros you need to pay for your application. So just be aware of it. So now that you have all the required documents and you have everything you need, the next thing is to apply. Now you should know that you can either apply directly to the school, depending on the school, of course. Most private schools, you can apply to them directly, to the international student session. Just send the application to them, and everything is usually on their website. You submit online on their website, and then they receive it and it goes through. However, some other schools need you to apply using the UniAssist portal. Now, the UniAssist database is this centralized admission portal for international students. Most schools use the UniAssist database because sometimes they even grade your previous degrees to know if it fits with the standard of the German degree. So Yeah, they might ask you to apply through the Uni Assist. So just keep on the lookout. It's either you apply directly or you apply through Uni Assist. I'm also going to put the link to Uni Assist, down in the description box, so you can always check it out. You can even create an account there if you're required to. You can create an account there. That way you keep tabs on your admission, the process, whether it has gone through the committee, if it's been accepted, if you need to provide additional documents, and so on and so on and so forth. If you watch this video to this point and you like it, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my analytics a lot. Yeah, and you can consider subscribing to my channel if you want to. It's free, but I hope you do want to. I hope you find it really interesting here, that you would want to stick around. And also turn on the notification bell so that whenever I post a new video, you would get notified immediately. Yeah, so all right, let's continue with the video. You also know here is that the application here, it's twice a year. You have the winter semester and the summer semester. Application for the winter semester usually ends around the 15th of July, but this is not static. Like, it depends on the school too. Most times they end 15th of July, but you need to check with the school you're applying to be sure that the winter semester to be sure that you don't pass the deadline for the winter semester. The winter semesters usually start around September, when the weather is getting really cold. September, November, October, no, around that time, towards December. When it's really, really cold. So if you're not comfortable with starting school or coming to a new environment when it's really, really cold, you can also try the summer semester. Application for the summer semester ends usually around the 15th of January, but of course check with the school you're applying to. Be sure that you don't miss the deadline, the application deadline. So the summer semesters are usually around March, April, June, when the sky is so bright, summer is coming out, and you can do all the however, it all depends on you when you want to come into the country. So once you send out your application, you should also know that it's advisable to send out your application 6 weeks before the deadline. That way it gives them more time to review. This doesn't really have to be the case. Just make sure you have all the required documents ready. It doesn't matter. As long as there is still time, you can always submit your documents. I'm just saying, it's always better 6 weeks before the application deadline. So after you send out the application, usually it takes them about 1 to 2 months before they get back to you with either the good news of you getting the admission or a rejection. So once you apply, just wait. It might even take longer or it might take less, but usually it's 1 to 2 months. Now that you sent out your application, and because we're positive people here, it's always good for you to plan for the next step. And the next thing is to gather your finances together. Gathering your finances, I mean, you have to make plans of how you're going to sponsor yourself here, or maybe someone's going to sponsor you, maybe your parents, or how you're going to do about money generally. One of the requirements to getting the German visa is to have a means of sustenance when it comes to do with finance. And usually they'll ask for a blocked account. Most people go for the blocked account, although there are other options, as long as you have a proof that you would be able to financially sustain yourself. But most people go for the blocked account. Now currently the amount of money you need in your blocked account is about 10,236 euros, which would be paid out to you. Like, you just put the money in the blocked account and then it will be paid out to you every month. 853 euros every month for your sustenance as a student. But don't worry about that. I'm going to go into more details in the next video when I talk about the requirements to get in a German visa. Just for you to know, currently you need about 10,236 euros in the blocked account, which will be paid every month. Every month you will receive 853 euros, which is supposed to be for your upkeep, for you to pay your rent, feed, and all the rest. Now, so we've come to the end of this video. I hope you like it. If you do like it, please give it a thumbs up. So if you're considering coming to Germany, I hope this video helps you. If you know someone that wants to come to Germany, you can share this video with them. I hope it helps them as well. I'm going to keep more videos coming on this topic about coming to Germany and all of that. Also leave comments on the kind of videos you want to see next, on the topics you want me to talk about next on my channel. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.